Some of you may ask why I do this every week. Hello YouTubers, this is noobifier. I started this playlist and series called Community Concerns because I have more time to research. I haven't done one for a while because nobody was really talking about anything. But this week, a little bit different. If you missed past week's installments, they're put into a playlist that could be started much like a podcast when you're thinking about life and what it all means. Consider bookmarking it and checking in every once in a while to get caught up to date with what the community's talking about. And of course, if you find it fun, please do me a favor and share it with your friends or orgmates. Today is the 13th of September 2022, and I try to do these on Tuesdays, choosing topics wherever possible that are presented well and have a good banter back and forth. We begin with the threads. Caker of Death said that there was something lacking from this year's CITCON lineup. They proclaimed that Tony Z was missing. They wanted more updates on quantum and subsumption and acknowledged that the word eventually is often used as part of his presentation. Hailstorm32 said what I was thinking, and that is that there wasn't really a difference in the last couple years for Tony Z's presentation. It really boils down to how pretty the graphics are. And that wasn't a tortilla in the face or meant to be nasty. They said that at this point, Tony has already explained the entire concept of the plan, and it's just a matter of doing it and getting it done, and then adding that to the game. And it makes sense that he might be missing this year. The real question that Hailstorm followed up with was, where the fuck is Chris gonna be? CIG Jake did explain why and where, but I'm talking more global and general. Chris is the reason that we're here, and Chris is the reason that we're funding Chris's dream game. So now the show has been scaled back so much that the main man himself can't be present or make a digital appearance. I'm sounding very dramatic and salty, and that's perfectly fine. This is just a video game after all, and it's not life or death. But this does seem to be a bad precedence to set after scaling back so much already. What are your thoughts? Comment in the comments with some comments. Are you disappointed that we won't hear from Chris at CitizenCon this year with a keynote? Are you hoping for something pre-recorded? Would it have been cool to move CitizenCon so that it wasn't at the same time as TwitchCon? Next, Boralik posted a screenshot for proof and confirmed that as of the 10th of September, we have surpassed 10-year milestone. Some people came back with very hateful slime telling the OP that this is irrelevant because the actual development didn't start until much later, and even that the early development was all just playtesting and all of it was tossed aside as new stuff was made. Some said the development didn't actually start until patch 3.0, and then Alienware fired back with a lot of old YouTube video links from 2014 showing that all the tech that was made by Ilphonic, so the FPS stuff, the Squadron 42 footage, and some Area 18 landing zone. People spent the next 40 posts slapping each other with tortillas in some sort of standoff to prove once and for all that the game has not been in development for 10 years. My thoughts are, who cares if it's been 10 years or not? It's going to be 10 years now, or 10 years in a week or a month, and it's just a number. We should focus more on how the development is going, not a bunch of code that's been worked on, deleted, and substituted for newer stuff. What are your thoughts? Are we past the 10-year? Does it matter? Do you feel that this is going to be some kind of magical mark? Next! This one caught my eye as an example of people asking questions and the community going down 35 rabbit holes in off-topic directions. Finley wants to know if all of the large ships will eventually be nerfed because of big YouTubers that can't kill them. They said, Nautilus, Icarus, Kraken, where do we draw the line? Will all of these ships be nerfed by babies who want the ship to have a 30-second durability limit? I'm going to comment that there's an issue with real and games. Real war isn't fair. The Generation 5 fighter will kill a Generation 4 fighter 300 kilometers away, perhaps even before it's detected. If your army has pickup trucks and mine has tanks, then it would be dumb to think that you should get into the ring. So, balance has nothing to do with reality. It has to do with limiting a single meta. Most effective tactic available, or meta, is the case in choosing gear that's better able to help you to win. In Battlefield 3, if there's a bunch of enemy tanks, then your team choosing the engineer with RPG is a better meta than taking a medic. Game balance is critical, or everyone will choose one magic gun, the God Gun. One gun in the one class, and the game will not deliver what it's meant to. In a released game, balance passes are done by talking to players and looking at the stats, looking at what people are using. That would be already difficult in a game with 4 classes and 100 guns. One could see it even more complicated when you add multi-crew ships, swappable shields, swappable power plants, coolers, overclocking, and then the crew, the effectiveness of the crew. Real life though, an A2 cannot 1v1 with a fighter, or at least as a gamer, you shouldn't expect something as large as an A2 to be a 1v1 target. This is where teamwork comes in. This is that David and Goliath situation, and this isn't a comment on any other content creators' work, it's just a general statement. A truck and a tank. Tank wins. But a truck with 4 bricks of C4 on the front and a tank now either can win based on how the game plays out. And that's fun. Choose the right weapon in game, choose the right tactic in game, and overcome the issue that you're presented with. Don't bring a knife to a gunfight unless you're willing to get a little bit creative in choosing when and how to use that knife. Play the game the way you want and win the way that makes you happy. So this issue is made worse in Star Citizen because we're in a playable alpha with years of systems that still need to be added. Each of those changes the game and will further upset the placeholder balance. The company knows that there will be resets from here till the next 10 years, so there's no consequence. But the community may not see it this way, seeing their time invested as the grind and having consequence. So I will say that it's okay to think about balance now, but at the same time, we all choose to play what we know will be an imperfect and unbalanced gaming experience. Balance, true balance, will be done for years and years after what's considered game release. And this will be done as players exploit the new meta and the game company sees the statistics and makes alterations. Balance in the game is the only reason we're not buying one ship each year during the sale. If balance was off, we would all be in the same 5th generation fighter. So to the OP, I'm going to say their point is valid. And to the absolute shit show discussion that followed, I'm happy to see that at least most were able to fling poop at each other without resorting to personal attacks. I'll acknowledge that I don't expect there to be perfect balance, and some of us do like testing from patch to patch to see what the current meta is. It could be ballistics, it could be hit scan, the shields might be good this patch, and they may be nerfed the next. As to addressing the OP's concern, I'm going to link the thread so that you can take a look. The post is a great indication of the challenges that CIG faces in making this game. Everyone, and I mean down to the individual, expects something different from Star Citizen. Some want DCS in space, some want Truck Simulator, and I think some out there want Eve, and some are expecting Planet Side 2. Whatever we expect might not be exactly what we get, and it's important to not get totally offended or pissed off when that happens to you simply because that's unreasonable. I'm going to end a little bit short there. People were making posts about CitizenCon, and there was a bunch of people talking about the PvP slider and private servers again. I'm not touching on that shit because it's all the same echo chamber. It's the same discussion from 7 years ago with the same links being used on each side to justify each other's position, and it will be the same copy-paste discussion in 7 years. It's more important at this point to go play and enjoy Star Citizen. Thanks for spending your time with me. I hope that you take the effort to comment or share. Fly safe, and I'll see you in the verse.